Welcome to the You Dad Me a Hello podcast. My name is RJ. This is Andy. He's grew a beard for a little bit of time.
The only time I ever growing.
Yeah. Welcome to the top Disney movie episode of You Dad Me a Hello. This is the one you've all been waiting for. All of you children who listen to us and all of you grown children who still listen to us. Top Disney movies. So today we have a very special guest with us, and his name is Mr. Pete Hutchinson.
Hello. Oh, thank you. Yes. Okay.
Yes, Pete, as you can see from the picture, is our longtime friend. We met years ago at church, and we found each other again at a SmackDown event or a Raw event somewhere. It was very random.
I had free tickets to that. That was my very first time ever experiencing the thing you two love.
That's true.
It was
Each other?
interesting. Well, I experienced your love as well. Yes, but at the event, yeah.
All right.
RJ was like,
It was
"Hey,
cool."
that's my buddy Pete." I was like, "Cool, let's go sit with him."
And then all three of us tried to just navigate slowly further and further towards the ring.
As the 4-hour event went on, we just kind of moved forward.
That was our second event of the week. We had been to Raw the night before.
I had no idea how long those things happen. So I'm thinking, oh yeah, I'll be home. I don't know, 9, 10 o'clock. It's only live on USA for an hour, and then stick around. There's a silent you're telling me all about these different things. I'm like, all right. I got nowhere to be.
Stick around for the dark matches where no one cares what happens because it's not on TV.
Yeah, but it was all good. It was a fun experience. It was something I'd do once,
So, Pete, tell us a little bit about your background. This is not your first time on some sort of audio experience.
Yeah, so I used to be in radio. I worked for a little country music radio station in Ticonderoga, New York. Where I was in Ticonderoga, New York. Fort Ticonderoga. The very historic. I know you don't know your New York State history, but that's okay. We'll do a whole podcast about New York State history coming up next. Stay for the dark match where I'm going to talk about New York State history. But no, it was I worked in the country music station because that's really what they listen to up there. So I'd have my 5 Iron Frenzy and my other stuff, my Metallica or my whatever in the queue. So I'd be listening to that. I'd watch the time go down, and then I'd say, well, then there was Travis Tritt with a wonder. It was, but it was good. It was a great time. I actually loved that time, and then went on to college and did a little radio show called the All Testosterone Hour with B Papa B and the Hutch Daddy. So I'm not a father myself, but I am the Hutch Daddy. So there you go.
Yes,
daddy.
Yeah. This is still 2 dads and 1 podcast today.
And
we have an
two
honorable
dads and 1 daddy.
All right, I knew that was going to go there, but all right, there you go. So the Hutch Daddy itself, and then I do some voiceover stuff and some different things, but that's about it.
All right, well.
There you go. I know you really wanted a very long intro, so let me tell you about my personal history. I grew up in...
You're done, Daddy.
Okay, the mute button. Here we go.
So today is our top Disney movies episode. So we are going to go through the top 16 choices in a randomized bracket. Pete is already angry coming in.
Already angry. Yes, it's okay.
He is ready to fight, but it's going to be a good episode. We have some good ones. I will say this. There are a ton that we left out, but all the ones that are on there, I think, deserve to be on there. But we will talk about, that as we go along. We decided to cut it down to the top 16 instead of the top 32 like normal, so we can spend a little bit more time on each one, why we like them. And also you guys can chime in as well with your comments. Looks like we already have one currently.
Yes.
I'm gathering Pete's friends have already started coming on.
You want to hear about Ticonderoga? And my man right here, he is a local historian and a man who I consider a personal friend. So hello, Rich. Good to see you.
Save it for the dark matches. Gee.
I know. Rich, stay on. I'm going to talk about Ticonderoga history offline.
So just to give a little insight into our top Disney movie choices, we did not include any offshoots of Disney. These are straight Disney movies. And we also did not include any nature documentaries or Hamilton, the play. So these are just straight Disney movies. We have another podcast that we're going to do in the future for Pixar. We may repeat that for DreamWorks. I'm not sure.
Back.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Pixar happens to be my favorite currently. I know pretty much all the Pixar movies. But this is a good mix, I think, of 80s, 90s, 2000s movies. Nothing before the 80s, to my knowledge, is on this list currently. So if we're looking for Cinderella 1941, you're probably not in the right place. But
I put it down.
But we will talk about that. If you guys have any questions or comments, or you disagree or agree, feel free to write it in our comments section. We will get it up on there on the board and start talking about it there. But that's it. Are you guys ready?
Yeah,
I'm ready.
It's already going to be tough in the first round. I'm already looking at the first couple movies we have here. So here we go. We have Frozen 2 versus The Mighty Ducks. I think this is the only podcast in which these two movies will be at battle. But what do we got?
All right. So we're gonna go with Frozen 2 versus the Mighty Ducks. That's hands down. As much as you want me to choose Frozen 2, I gotta go Mighty Ducks.
So Mighty Ducks, great movie. Why would you choose that? What kind of memories come up about
what kind
Mighty
of
Ducks?
wings? It's just the wings. Sorry, I won't pick on you. I won't pick on the host of the show. I'm sorry. The Mighty Ducks for me. That's a hockey team. Gordon Bombay, the Flying V, Soft Hands Goldberg. Quack. I gotta go Mighty Ducks. I'll quote the whole movie. You saw my intro. I'll do it.
Andy, what about you? What's going on?
Well, I'm also gonna go with the Mighty Ducks. So Frozen.
Oh my word!
So listen, I like Frozen 2. I've seen it probably 10 million times already. Before it even hit Disney Plus, my daughter, we were in the movie theaters. I think my wife took her every single week for like 5 weeks straight, and then we're like, listen, it's coming out on Disney Plus. Like, let's slow down. But The Mighty Ducks is a classic movie. Frozen 2 confused me at the beginning. I had to watch it a couple times before I was like, oh, that's what's happening. It went way over my head. So the quack.
Oh, yes, sir.
Oh my God. There was a kid in college who used to wear a Mighty Ducks hat. And one day my friend just started going, quack, 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 quack. And the entire class started doing it at the same time.
Oh.
This kid just sat there in bewilderment, just like, what is going on?
Iconic.
A fever pitch. And he never wore the Mighty Ducks hat after that.
But absolutely iconic. Absolutely iconic.
Yes.
I agree with you. I love the Mighty Ducks, and I'm going to save my Mighty Ducks talk for later because it's in there. Mighty Ducks is moving on to the top 8. But I don't want to brush aside the fact that we are eliminating a movie that has 92% on Rotten Tomatoes, a movie that took $150 million budget and is the has the biggest box office of all the movies we have, $1.4 billion.
Hey, they're up against the Mighty Ducks.
I get it.
RJ. The North Ultra were just not enough.
Josh Gad, Olaf recapping Frozen 1 is the movie itself.
Okay, all right. I'll give you that, but RJ, just let it go, please.
I see what you did there, but that's Frozen 1. So
I know. But I have a feeling Frozen 1 probably will move on. So
we're a little lost in the woods, RJ. Sorry.
Lost in the Woods, Into the Unknown, great songs. But I'll agree. I was confused the first time I saw the movie. I saw it a second time in the theater, and I really did like it. But it took a little while.
Yeah, Gordon Bombay.
It's Gordon Bombay.
Emilio Estevez.
It is part of the Estevez Sheen dynasty.
I mean, it is great. I'll give it to you. But Mighty Ducks is moving on.
It's young Joshua Jackson.
Hi to Eliza. My daughter is staying up late tonight to watch this podcast. Just
so honored.
Sorry, Eliza, that Frozen 2's gone already.
This is one of her favorite movies. She has no idea what the Mighty Ducks is yet.
Maybe your dad will let you watch Mighty Ducks.
We'll be watching Mighty Ducks at some point.
Frozen 2 was deep for kids. Like
it was
a lot about death and like the things that they weren't saying.
Yeah.
I nearly cried. Can we give you spoilers? Is it too soon for spoilers?
It's way too soon.
It's way too soon?
Yeah.
Olaf dies. And it's sad. So I remember almost crying during that part. Like and there's this like whole song about mental depression. Like I was like, wow, this is too deep, but it's sad. But anyways, Mighty Ducks moves on. We are kicking Frozen 2 out. And we don't care that it made $1.4 billion.
No.
Just gonna melt away.
Taking that 1% out. Let's go.
Next up, Tangled versus Moana.
Man.
So I'm just gonna start this real quick because my kids got into Frozen was one of the first movies they ever got into. Followed that up after a long year of listening to Frozen songs. They finally got into Tangled. And Tangled was a really awesome movie. I loved the soundtrack to that. Mandy Moore is the one who leads that soundtrack. And so Tangled was a refreshing moment for me to get out of the Frozen cycle. But Moana was awesome. Like you have The Rock in there. Lin-Manuel Miranda wrote most of the songs for Moana. And it's such a different story that I don't know. I like both. What are you guys thinking?
Go in.
Yeah, I agree with what you said. Both movies were really good. Both movies are ones that I've watched many times with my daughter. Tangled, like you said, good songs in there. It was just kind of a feel good movie, I guess. But Moana is on a different playing level. Like I can't even say his name.
Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yeah, just what an artist. And The Rock coming in as Maui, like a big name there. They really played to the realistic aspect of the Polynesian islands. And, if you watch some of the behind the scenes stuff of the Moana DVD set, you will learn about how much they they talk to people. Hey, what's right about this movie? What isn't? What should we change? And they took a lot of that into play. Frozen 2. So we already lost people. They're already gone.
They're already gone. Yeah.
What is 2 yet? It could be.
Yeah.
Moana, Tangled is not. I don't know.
Yeah, but the Moana soundtrack. I mean, I'd listen to that full blast just without a kid. So it's got to be Moana for me.
Oh.
You're welcome.
Gentlemen, I fell asleep during both of these movies. But
theater alone.
What's that?
That's what happens when you go to the theater alone.
Yeah, I know, right? Come on, I actually happen to be watching these on. Let's see. Well, I don't know where Tangled I watched, but on Disney Plus, I watched Moana, and I fell asleep. But that's okay. It was a great movie from what I saw, and Tangled, Mandy Moore, she covered Switchfoot's Only Hope, so I'm kind of going there. But also The Rock, you guys love your WWE boys. So was he WWF at that time? Neither here nor there.
Both.
Okay. Yeah. But I don't know. I love you're swaying me with these DVD extra features about the history. So I could go either way on this one.
All right. Well, I'm gonna agree. I was gonna go Tangled. Andy, you kind of swayed me over to Moana a little bit more. The music, the soundtrack was way better. Tangled had 2 or 3 great songs. Moana's whole soundtrack was really, really good. Tangled, 87% on Rotten currently. It made $592 million in the box office. It's actually the most expensive Disney movie ever made for budget-wise. $260 million to make Tangled. And little known fact, Kristen Bell and Idina Menzel both auditioned to be Rapunzel. And we're in Frozen. So really good stuff. But I think Tangled's going to leave because I think I'm going to go with Moana as well.
Yeah, I think I'd have to go Moana. The soundtrack is, if I'm going to go on this case, I've heard both soundtracks. I have to go soundtrack alone since I fell asleep during both movies. And I will have to go Moana as well.
All right, Moana moving on to the top 8. Next up, we have a battle of the old school movies for us, at least. This was our time. I can speak for 2 of us. Cool Running versus Remember the Titans.
Oh,
These are both good ones. Now, remember, these are completely randomized. So I'm a little upset that these two are against each other because I love both of them a ton.
you need to hit that random button again, please.
Andy, you look like you have something to say.
Yeah. Remember the Titans. I remember watching it and loving it. Denzel Washington, it doesn't matter who you talk to, they all agree, one of the greatest actors of all time. I went back today to try to refresh my memory and watch some clips online, and I was like, man, I gotta go watch this again. This was such a terrific movie, and I'm really disappointed that it's going up against Cool Runnings because that was one of my favorite movies as a child. John Candy was terrific in that role. So many awesome quotes too. Sanka, you dead?
Yes.
The lucky egg.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach. Yep. Yeah, but I gotta go with Remember the Titans.
All right.
Yeah, for me, Cool Runnings, these are both during my time, and I was a little bit older during these, so that tells you how old I am, but that's okay. So, from when Robin Hood was out for the first time. But, and don't worry about it. Thanks for the little snicker. I appreciate that. So,
everything I do.
But what I would say is Cool Runnings is an iconic movie. It was definitely my favorite movie back then. But then Remember the Titans came along and blew everything out of the water as far as, just football movie that isn't just football. It's about life in general. And I'd definitely have to go with Remember the Titans over Cool Runnings in this bracket. But I really wish that Cool Runnings was going on farther.
Yeah, I agree. I love both of these movies. I actually want to see Cool Runnings again just because it's been a really long time. It's still at an 81% Rotten Tomatoes. And at the time, it was actually the highest grossing live action Disney movie at that time. This was also the final movie of John Candy. He went on to do Wagons East, but it was released after his death. But it made its money. It was $17 million budget, and it made 155, which is not a ton, but it's a lot more than 17 million. So it was doing really well. But Remember the Titans, for me, the reason I would choose that over Cool Runnings is really the point of the movie. Yeah. I feel like you remember it a lot more for its impact on you. It was still funny, very funny. We'll talk about this movie again when it's in the top 8, so I won't say everything I've got, but just everything in it. I mean, Hayden Panettiere's in it, who went on to be in Heroes. Ryan Gosling's in it. There's a bunch of people in it. The bully from Boy Meets World is in it.
Right.
So, who looks way better than me currently. And
that's not saying much, RJ.
I mean, I do have the face for radio, so I can't say much more either. But that's all right.
I mean, it's really just three ugly guys in a podcast.
Let's just put pictures of ourselves in our best light in our Instagram filters up here.
But I am going to go with Remember the Titans as well. I made my wife watch this movie, and I was not happy with her response. She liked it, but I don't think she loved it like she should have.
I was like, all right, you please elaborate on that.
Yeah, she was no. I'm not going to say anything more. That's it. Yeah. She's watching currently, more likely.
No, she saw Frozen 2 lose, and she was like, "I'm out."
That is actually Eliza's using her Facebook currently, and comment.
These fools do not know anything about Disney.
That might be true. All right, moving on. We've got an odd pairing here. We've got the Muppet Christmas Carol versus Big Hero 6. Andy, I think you want to start this. You haven't seen Big Hero 6.
No, I haven't seen Big Hero 6. I keep asking my daughter, hey, can we watch this? And no. Muppet Christmas Carol, I haven't seen it in a very long time. Oh, Big Hero 6 has a really cool song in it, though. I can't remember. We watched a bunch of people on YouTube.
Big Hero 6 is that movie, right?
Really good song.
Really well. There, It's got that little ditty.
That Mariah Carey song,
Yeah. It's got that guy and that girl, and then
yeah.
There was a robot.
And now we're all going to talk like this. Yeah. Hey.
All right. Muppets Christmas Carol. So you guys can talk about the movie and try to persuade me why it needs to move on.
Man, this is actually a tough one for me too because they're so different. Like you really can't compare these two movies. I mean, Big Hero 6 was made in 2014. Muppet Christmas Carol early 90s. Muppet Christmas Carol has Muppets in it. I mean, you have to be in the mood to watch a Muppets movie. It is my favorite of the Muppets stuff that has come out. I think it's hilarious. Michael Caine is awesome, and I just love the ongoing. What's the rat's name?
Oh gosh,
I don't know either.
Put me on the spot.
The Rat Muppet.
Muppet. That's his name.
The one. He just has all these like falling gimmicks throughout the entire movie. It's hilarious. But Big Hero 6 for Andy, who has not seen it. It's the first animated Marvel film that was released by Disney. It's not in the Marvel universe, but it's there. It's great. I love the movie.
I love that description of the movie, RJ. I'm glad you.
Thank you.
That
it's basically about. It's in the future. I think it's 2032, and it's about a kid. I don't know what it's about. I'm voting for Muppet Christmas Carol.
Yeah, I did take a look here. I know Rich beat me to it as far as putting it up on the screen, but Rizzo is the rat from the Muppets. I hate myself for not hate myself.
Rizzo.
I dislike myself for not knowing the names of that. But I tell you, as far as I can't even go about Big Hero 6 because it's against the Muppet Christmas Carol. So I'm not going to sway you away from Big Hero 6. It's a great movie, but the Muppet Christmas Carol in my book is hands down the winner in this pairing. You got Rizzo, you got Michael Caine. There you go. Yeah. And you got a phenomenal movie. And one that I watch pretty much every year, except I can't remember Rizzo, but that's all right.
I can't get the kids to watch it. The kids think they're too old for the Muppets. But I feel like I'm going to make them watch it soon. We'll probably do like a Christmas in February thing coming up and watch it. It's so good. And it's a little scary, I think, for a young kid. But anyways, we're about to kick out Big Hero 6, 91% on Rotten Tomatoes, but we don't care. It's out.
Great movie. No, legit, great movie. But
Rotten Tomatoes is no You Dad Me at Hello. All right,
it's a You Dad Me at Hello rating of 0.
You only get 50%. You Dad Me at Hello apples here.
Yeah.
It's fresh apples. That's super.
All right, yeah.
Anyways,
moving
quick tidbit about Big Hero
apples?
6.
No, I don't want to hear it.
How do you like them apples?
In iRobot,
your stuff.
in iRobot, James Cromwell stars as Dr. Alfred Lanning, creator of the robot Sonny, played by Alan Tudyk. In this film, Cromwell plays Dr. Robert Callaghan, the rival, who's played by Tudyk. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Tudyk is in like every Disney.
In everything. I have notes on Tudyk later. We're getting into him. He's all over.
I'm changing my vote. That swayed me right there.
So whether or not you agree with us, we are kicking Big Hero 6 out for the Muppet Christmas Carol. And that is moving on. So that's where we are currently.
You sound like you're... Oh, yeah.
No, I'm actually trying to move my mouse on the other screen and do it very cool, but it's just not happening. So, but anyways, here we are. Next up. The Little Mermaid, 1989 version versus Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
What is this pairing?
It's random. That's what makes it good.
Okay.
Do you know that in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, originally there was going to be 5 kids?
Yeah.
And that one of them was going to be murdered in the sprinkler sequence?
Yes, I heard about that. Yes, tell me more.
That's it. That's all I know about it. Can you imagine that? Like, you go to see this kid's movie, and you're like, "This looks cute. Let me take my what's going on?" Like this kid is getting like its head chopped off. Oh man, Rick Moranis. I mean, terrific actor.
Oh yeah.
How many sequels after this? How many other movies did they make?
There were 3 total, but then I think they tried. They're actually in. Fun fact. They are working on rebooting it.
I'm so excited.
Rick Moranis came out of retirement, and he is signed on. I'm very excited about it.
And Olaf is attached as well to play his
Josh
son.
Gad.
Yeah.
Well, not Olaf himself. It's not going to be Frozen 3.
They're combining it. It's going to be a snowman child.
Okay.
It gets really
Honey,
political.
I Shrunk the Snowman.
Did they get really political? And it's like, Honey, I Shrunk the Electoral College. They just go like crazy.
This is timely for you. Thank you so much for tying that in.
They had a TV series after this too.
Yes,
they did.
Correct.
They did.
I was going to tie that one in. So technically 3 movies, but then they have the TV series.
I don't really remember the TV series very well.
I never saw it.
Yeah. For me, I haven't seen Honey, I Shrunk the Kids in a long time. It was a good movie, but Little Mermaid is a timeless classic, and that's all I'm gonna say about it for right now. Even though
you're still talking though.
This is about just Disney. A lot of these kind of movies around that time. The princess movies. There's a lot of things in there that are great, but it doesn't send a lot of good messages a lot of the times. And that's all I'll say about that, RJ.
Agreed. As a father, I agree with you. I feel like we got to do damage control when watching old Disney movies these days. But yeah, I'm with you.
They've done a great job since.
This is part of the apology run of Disney, where they had to be like, yeah, we didn't mean to say that. But A Little Mermaid, 88% on Rotten Tomatoes. It was the first movie that brought Disney into a Renaissance era. Essentially, they had a couple failed movies in the box office prior to this, so Little Mermaid was big for them. I agree, it's timeless. It's forgettable for me. For me, it's one of those movies that, yeah, it's classic. But if I'm gonna sit there and pick a movie today, I'm gonna watch Honey, I Shrunk the Kids again.
Hey, I was Sebastian for Halloween. I had a red hat with the big googly eyes on it.
This makes so much sense now.
Yeah.
Well, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids is moving on to the top 8, kicking out The Little Mermaid.
Did you even ask for my bet?
You said Honey, I Shrunk the Kids earlier.
We were talking about movies, but I
thought you chose. My bad.
I'm going to agree with you, but
you call me out also you can agree with me.
Because this is why I called you up, because I was going to give you props. Because I thought I was going to be the lone man here with Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. So I'm very happy. Little Mermaid is a great movie. But again, for me, I also agree. It's a little forgettable. And I'm going to probably get some backlash from people to watch, from my people to watch. But that's all right. I would definitely go Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Because that movie, for me, it blew my mind. And we'll talk more about that later because it's moving on.
It is. Moving into the top 8. So we've kicked out essentially Frozen 2 and The Little Mermaid so far. I just want to point that out.
I was mad at the beginning of this podcast, but I'm a little happier now. It's okay.
Maybe Pete was the wrong choice. We probably needed a female's opinion on this.
Yeah.
So behind the scenes, I just got a message from somebody saying it's 3 guys debating Disney movies that some of them haven't seen.
We've seen these all.
Well, I think one of it, you just admitted to not seeing Big Hero 6.
Okay.
And I fell asleep during 2 of them.
15 out of 16. Jesus.
I've seen all of them.
Let me tell you. Hold on. I may have only missed one of these movies, but more than half of these I've seen about 100 flipping times. Okay,
he knows what he's talking about.
I know what I'm talking about. My daughter literally watches 2 movies a day, and it's on repeat for 2 months straight for the past 5 years. I've seen Moana more than I like to mention. So
do not question him, or we will end this podcast. All right.
I was waiting for that. He is a Disney princess connoisseur.
Yeah. I got gadgets and gizmos galore. Who's eating what's it? Whatever. Let's move on.
Oh man. All right. Well, moving on. We now have another odd pairing. Ralph Breaks the Internet, which is Wreck-It Ralph, versus Aladdin's 1992 version. Guys, I'm going to say it. Ralph Breaks the Internet was for me, the sleeper of the year. I did not know it was going to be as good as it was.
We're talking the sequel.
Yes, the sequel.
Yes.
Ralph Breaks the Internet was... So I didn't see Wreck-It Ralph. Ralph Breaks the Internet. I don't know where I saw it, but we just watched it out of the blue, and I was blown away. Like, there was so many cameos in that movie. There was so many inside jokes. I need to go back and actually watch it now that I've read a little bit about it and just spot some stuff. For me, growing up, Aladdin was not one of my favorites. I didn't think it was that great of a movie. I'm actually in the probably small percentage that thinks the remake of Aladdin that just came out was actually better. I think Will Smith did great. Robin Williams, awesome. But Will Smith did a great job in the new one. I'll give him credit where that's due. But Aladdin is great. The songs are forgettable for me. I know what they are, but it was never really my thing. It's got a 92% on Rotten Tomatoes. But what's cool?
92% on Rotten Tomatoes.
92%.
All right.
It would get an 80% fresh apple from me. But
I'm done. I'm leaving.
This is actually kind of funny. Robin Williams is so good at his job in Aladdin. He improvised almost all of the material to the point where they couldn't get an award because it was all improvised. So there was no script to give an award to. So pretty cool stuff. Plus, I mean, what's the dude from Full House is Aladdin? So that's kind of cool.
I'm surprised you didn't pick that just because of that reason.
For me, it's going to be Ralph Breaks the Internet, and hopefully it passes so I can talk more about that later.
Okay. All right. I'm next. I'm sorry. But this is what's happening is Aladdin is a classic. I mean, Robin Williams alone, they had to watch his stand-up they had him record, I think, something like 30 minutes of stand-up just so the animators could learn how to just draw around him and just around his like quick style. So yes, they had to redo a lot of stuff, but the sheer genius of Robin Williams in that role, I mean, that for me is classic. I mean, Ralph Breaks the Internet, I was very surprised with it as well. I agree with you there. The intricacies of that were pretty cool, and some of the stuff you didn't think would come out. No spoilers there. But the music in Aladdin, come on. You ain't never had a friend like me. I mean, it's awesome. It's a great movie, and I'm kind of thrown off by just my face on the screen. So
it is. Isn't that super? Like, it throws me off all the time. I'm like,
it's like I'm trying to watch your reactions, and plus, I don't like to see my face on the screen. So I'm like,
you don't know how we're like,
what's happening?
How have we not mentioned Gilbert Gottfried?
Oh yes, yes. Well, see, I was unarmed by my face on the screen, so I couldn't.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, you know what? Nobody gets on it now.
No, come on.
He wants to see himself. Come on.
Yeah. So Aladdin, Pete, I agree with you. Like, classic movie. The music is legendary. Robin Williams, everybody talks about what a terrific guy he was. And I read something about this movie that was really cool. So at the same time, while he was filming this, Steven Spielberg used to call him because at the same time he was shooting Schindler's List, and the crew was like down and depressed, obviously from filming that movie.
Right.
So he would call Robin Williams up, and he would crack jokes and make everybody laugh and lift their spirits up. Like, what an amazing, person. Just, he always did a lot for a lot of other people. So,
right.
But with that being said, as far as the movie goes, yes, great movie. But as far as the princess movies, it's kind of one of the boring ones for me. Like, it's like great song. It's great song. Like, that's what I think about it.
It opened up a whole new world, though. Come on.
Yeah.
Don't you dare close your eyes. Hold your breath. It gets better. Okay.
Yeah. Let me take your hand and get onto this flying carpet, stranger, and fly all across the world. Do you trust me? Yeah, I just met you 2 minutes ago. Of course I trust you. Let's go for a ride around the world. Get out of here.
Oh.
Ralph Breaks the Internet. Same like as you, RJ. I watched that first before I watched WreckIt Ralph, and we watch Ralph Breaks the Internet just about every day. We actually have to take breaks now because it's just like we've watched it 2 days in a row. Let's not watch it for like 5 days. So many great cameos. Terrific story, and a really good soundtrack too. If you have not heard it, Slaughter Race. So my pick is Ralph Breaks the Internet.
There you go,
Sorry,
Ralph.
My goodness.
Sorry, everybody that is wearing their Jasmine costumes right now, listening out there.
How about
There's
those
one guy in
apples?
a genie costume, like, oh man.
Aladdin, we got to give it to him.
Oh.
92% on Rotten Tomatoes. It was the
Yeah,
film
you
that
Rotten Tomatoes.
became. It's the one I'm using for today. I was using IMDb before, and then I realized Rotten Tomatoes had more reviews on it, so I went with that. We just threw out Tom Cruise Aladdin. That is who Aladdin is actually based off of. Is a little bit of Tom Cruise. I don't understand it, but
Wait, Aladdin was like 4'2".
If you don't get comments about Aladdin losing to Ralph Breaks the Internet, I don't know. It means no one is watching. I mean,
That means no one is watching Ralph Breaks the Internet, because if
That's
anybody in their right mind has watched that movie, would say that is a terrific movie.
it is a terrific movie. I love that movie, but okay, all right.
Welcome to the family.
I can't go. I can't. That's all right. It's. This is the vote.
Hey, we just broke the internet. We just broke the internet, Pete. What are you gonna do?
So I'm gonna go fly away on my magic carpet.
Next up, we have two movies that one of them is 92% on Rotten Tomatoes versus the biggest franchise in the history of the world. It is Beauty and the Beast from 1991 versus Frozen. This one's going to be huge. It's going to cause alienation in families, but it is Beauty and the Beast, Frozen. Man, this is hard.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk. Just
talk. You go. Because we're on a podcast.
You already are.
$25 million budget turned into $440 for Beauty and the Beast at the time. It was the first animated feature to win a Golden Globe. And it's also been added to the National Film Registry as being deemed culturally, historically significant. It is a great movie. But Frozen, man, that Frozen, I think, is the first real movie I saw with my kids. They had seen little things here or there, but Frozen, man, was the first thing they got into. The soundtrack of Frozen is awesome. I am gonna vote for Frozen over Beauty and the Beast, and I'm hoping Frozen moves on because I got a lot to say about it, but I won't say anything now. But Frozen for me.
So apparently I need to say everything I want to say about Beauty and the Beast because I have two dads here that might outvote me. All right. Well, Beauty and the Beast is an iconic film. It's one of the first ones I really remember seeing. Well, not remember seeing, but remember watching over and over. It was a great film. That's about all I remember about it. Lumiere, he made the movie for me. I loved Lumiere in this. And yeah, I gotta go Beauty and the Beast personally. Frozen, I wasn't in the age time. I didn't have children. I couldn't. Frozen got a little bit old for me, but Beauty and the Beast is mine. But I understand where you're coming from. Now go on.
Yeah, no, I get that point of view too. Like if I wasn't a dad, I wouldn't watch Frozen.
Sure.
But
I watched it twice or three times, but still,
Frozen's got, again, classic songs. Let It Go, Olaf. I mean, turned into this huge character. He's just a side character in the movie, and the kids go crazy over Olaf. I have a full Olaf costume that I wore to Halloween and kids were like running up to me, Olaf, going crazy. They can't see my face, and kids are coming up hugging me, high-fiving me. Yeah, and it was so cool. I didn't to say anything. And then I took my mask off, and they all ran out. And then Beauty and the Beast, they had some really great songs in there too. There's actually only 5 minutes in that movie where there's no music or score. So just you think about it's a musical essentially. But do you know that Jackie Chan was actually who was he the voice of the Beast in the Chinese version?
In Chinese.
The Mandarin version, yeah. Right. Oh my god, imagine if he was in the US version and he was the Beast. How awesome would that be?
That would be amazing.
The Beast just freaking starts doing kung fu on everybody that comes in the castle. That would be fantastic. Just roundhouse kicks Gaston in the face. The movie's done. But I'm a little perplexed here because the message in Beauty and the Beast, really, I don't agree with. And whether I am a father or just a human being, like at all. Like, okay, you held her captive, and then she is supposed to fall in love with you, and like we're supposed to be okay with that.
Okay.
Like, no, I don't think so.
So it's Beauty and the Stockholm Syndrome.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, in Frozen, she's held captive too, but whatever.
I'm gonna talk a little bit about that too, but this is a completely different.
No, I'm with you. I understand.
So, Beauty and the Beast,
but Angela Lansbury, come on, Mrs. Potts.
She actually filmed this during Murder She Wrote and had to take time off of Murder She Wrote to like do her parts.
You think she like talked about like when at the end of the movie when Gaston died and she like did her Murder She Wrote voice.
She's typing at the typewriter.
So something that I also like about Frozen is I really got into some of the people that play that part. I ended up loving Kristen Bell in The Good Place. Yeah. I ended up loving John Groff in Hamilton as the king. I ended up loving Josh Gad. He has a show you should check out if you haven't already on YouTube called Reunited Apart. Where he reunites all these old casts like The Karate Kid, Wayne's World, Ghostbusters, and all of that. So it's a really awesome show, and Josh Gad's really cool dude. But that's the reason, another reason I really liked the Frozen movies.
That's funny.
It gave me that's fine. It gave me an uncontrollable urge to build a snowman, so I liked Frozen for that reason. Yeah.
We're like, let's do 16 movies because it's going to be really short.
I didn't say really short. I just said we could talk more about the individual movies.
Do you want to throw a snowball?
Well, we are in the last thing to get into the top 8 here.
We're still in the field of 16. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. This is the last two. The last two right here. And it is a weird pairing. It is The Lion King from 1994 and D2, The Mighty Ducks.
All right.
This is a list that contains 2 Mighty Ducks movies.
Okay.
As the best Disney movies of all time. Mighty Ducks and D2.
We have lost more viewers than we had at the beginning.
RJ was like, should we take off D2? And I was like, no. This is like a great movie. It's got Kenan Thompson.
Kenan's in that one, yeah.
They go against the villains in Iceland.
I know.
Iceland.
Yeah. It made $45 million. It has a 59% Rotten Tomatoes, but it's in our top 16 list.
But it's D2, The Mighty Ducks.
I mean, I do like it. I think it deserves to be somewhere.
What is this? The bottom 16 movies of all time that you want?
But D2 versus The Lion King, which made $968 million in the box office.
Come on, apples.
It's a 93% fresh apples. Also, really cool thing I learned while doing some stuff for this. The Lion King doesn't have any real lion roars.
Yeah,
every lion roar is done by this dude Frank Welker. They didn't want to have lion roars. I'm not really sure why, but they didn't. And Jonathan Taylor Thomas is in it. So
yeah, I mean, we all know what movie is going to be moving on in this case, but I feel like we need to talk about that great scene at the end of the movie in D2 where they're around a campfire singing "We Are the Champions." I mean, that was cinematic gold.
Originally, it was supposed to be Russia. That was supposed to be the evil team, and at that time, we actually improved our relations with Russia.
Right.
So they went with Iceland. That's an odd pairing.
Well, I mean, they in the hockey world, that's true.
I remember liking D2 a lot as a kid. Like, I thought it was a good movie. But I think either way, almost anybody that you're going to put up against the Lion King's going to win. Like, we'll talk about it in the next round. But hey, great job, D2, getting here in the top 16. You earned it basically because of our childhood nostalgia. So
I feel like the Mighty Ducks has already moved on, so there is a duck left in this fight, but
Quack.
we need yes, exactly. So I guess rawr rawr. Like what is that? I don't know what's happening. Like instead of quack, quack.
It's a good thing
quack,
Pete can do the voiceovers for the Lion King.
growl. I just can't wait.
Oh man! All right,
Hakune
well,
Matata.
so that means Mighty Ducks 2 is not moving on. We are in the top 8, guys.
Great
This
movie.
is it. Before we get there, we just want to remind you, you can hit us up on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube. You can also find our podcast probably where you're listening now on Spotify or any other streaming area below. During this podcast, if you have any
Always wanted
questions,
to do this.
if you have any questions or comments, please let us know. But also, Andy and I are also musicians of sort, and we put out music every once in a while. So feel free to check us out on YouTube and Spotify. We have a song coming out on Friday, I think. I think it's called Time Heals No Wounds, possibly. I don't know. But that's coming out on Friday.
He hasn't written it yet.
I think it's one of Zoe's favorites. Is that true?
It is one of Zoe's favorites. Yeah,
It's really good. So check it out. But that's it. Pete, thanks for joining us today.
Hey, I'll see you later. It's been a good run. I mean,
hello, this is RJ from the You Dad Me a Hello podcast. You've just listened to the Top Disney Movies, episode 16. Feel free to join us again for part 2 of our Top Disney Movies with special guest Pete Hutchinson next week.